Welcome back to Las Vegas with us. This is the 2023 Las Vegas Challenge, MPO Round 1, Back 9. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nathan Queen.
Yeah, we got to watch a lot of different things on that front nine. The wind causing a bit of havoc. Saw quite a few birdies, but also quite a few bogeys. And this back nine, we're kind of heading back into a headwind, so it could get pretty hectic out here.
Yeah, if you're a chaos enthusiast, this is the place for you. We see Gregg Barsby out in front of this card in 4th place in the field at 3 down. Got Joel Freeman at 2, Matt Orum at 1, and Jeremy Koling looking to do some work on the back here.
Yeah, and you see Scott Withers off to the hot start, 5 down through 8. Couple 4 downs in the clubhouse, but pretty wide open here.
On hole 10, we are going to be playing with a little bit of left to right headwind. The big challenge here is the pond on the right. You need to test it if you want to get a birdie, but there is plenty of space out to the left for a safe shot. Barsby kind of going straight at it, distance driver. That's going to run out to the left. And he'll tell you, he'll take whatever he can get out of that.
Yeah, that's a scary putt to run. He's got a good putt to run it. He's got that high, lofty putt, but depending on the type of wind, could not work out so well for him. And he has gotten too much angle on that one. Got over on it too much, and he's just going to be trying to pitch up and get close for a tap-in par.
Oh, Matty. That's wild. That looked really, really good, and it just started moving right forever.
Yeah, he released that with what looked to me a good 40 to 45 degrees of hyzer angle, and it just stood up and carried on over. And that one kind of burned over early as well. Definitely came back hard, but seems like these guys weren't quite ready for that headwind on this hole.
No, this was a really tough one to read, and the tree on the right is well placed. Immediately off the tee, you can't swing a hyzer as wide as you'd like to.
And look at these frisbees just doing all types of crazy stuff, man.
Germ was good about laughing at himself after the round. He told me that he saw Joel throw it out of bounds and said that was weird, and then did it himself.
And then Matty O's putt looked weird also. It had that just kind of kept floating up the entire time until it stopped moving forward and dropped out of the sky.
And if you're Barsby, what kind of maniac do you have to be to see the rest of your card doing this and still run your putt?
Just the Barsbarian, that's all you got to be, I guess.
Joel in for his bogey.
And coming in at only 388 feet, this hole only had 7 birdies today. So really showing you what that wind can do. Calm day, I'd say probably 40% of the fields, or close to that, is going to get the birdie on that hole.
Oh yeah, at least.
And that moves us into hole 11, kind of a tricky par 4. You feel like you play it too short to lay up short of this green. It makes the upshot fairly difficult, as this gap isn't as easy to hit as the drone flew through. But there is a big play. You can go try to make it over that green. There's also some room off to the left side.
And I would guess everyone's going to be working towards that left side if they can. As Barsby does get most of the way across the green. Being left is pretty critical here because some mounds and the little bit of left to right crosswind and tailwind won't let discs swing back to the basket on second shots.
I went par bogey.
And Joel looking to make it across the green here.
Oh my.
And gets it done nicely. He is going to be able to hit that gap that the drone flew through fairly easily from there.
Goodness. You see the steady hand of Catch Cam Dave, Gatekeeper's new Catch Cam operator for this year.
Yeah, standing right in the path and could tell he wasn't going to get hit. As Germ looks to be fading out to that left side as well. Going to have a few trees to deal with there, but better wind play from that area. And just smack down immediately.
Yeah, Gregg looks like he's trying to go putter forehand there, probably a rhino. And you got to keep it low so that the wind doesn't take it, but there's a fine line.
Oh my God. Does that slow down?
You hear a little conversation, Joel begging for it to slow down. And Koling kind of doing the same.
Yeah, even more so. You saw his hand immediately trying to pack that down once he let it go. He's pushed himself to 45 feet, and that could carry away to circle's edge or so right there also.
And good effort by Gregg. You know you have to get it above the basket so the tailwind has a chance to drop it in. So, Nathan, I'm curious. You're from North Carolina. Jeremy said he finds it difficult to practice courses like this because they just kind of don't exist in North Carolina. What can you do, like, over the winter to be ready for this type of golf?
Yeah, that is very true. Here in North Carolina, you're not going to see too much opportunity to get used to the ground play at all, but there are a few spots you can go out and just kind of do some field work really to get used to throwing far so often. Speaking of throwing far, into hole 12, our lone par 5 on the course today. 1,000 feet, OB right side, OB cart path left side. Big tee shot, and then an opportunity for a big roller to get you an eagle chance. But kind of need to get the 4 on this one.
And you hear it in the you hear the wind. We're playing into a pretty steep headwind. Just a fraction off is all it takes for that disc to drift over to the right side. I would say that if you're not getting more than 350 on this drive, you really cannot birdie. You have to be pushing 400 or so.
Oh my goodness. Both of these, right after I say you need to get the birdie on this one, this headwind is just telling me I need to calm down. We had one of them turn over immediately right. The other one just lifted up, went just as high as it did far.
And
Gregg,
Barsby, very good angle control there. Pushing it and adapting from what he's seen already.
I don't think he quite made that 350 mark you were talking about, though. The green part of this fairway is about 310 or 315 feet off of the tee. And I think Gregg got to that, but I'm not sure he pushed it too far. And we've got 2 players going OB left over here.
And kind of compounding the errors quickly for Matty O. He's going to be throwing 4 from well back. And I don't like where this is headed for Gregg.
Yeah, I don't think he does either, but a good soft skip there.
It's a good angle.
He's right. That is a good angle. That's going to leave him the opportunity to be able to throw either a backhand or a forehand into the green. The further left you are, the better you can access the pin.
Germ with a pretty good recovery shot there. Able to give himself an opportunity to get up and down for a par. He could pitch a little forehand up now.
Matteo kind of letting out some frustration there.
Yeah, he's going to be bogey at best from this point on this hole.
And we've kind of seen this error out of Joel several times. Trusting the forehand stability, but pushing it way too far left initially.
So Gregg
We'll travel. Nice shot.
trying to be the lone birdie opportunity, I believe, on the card, and leaves himself just outside the circle. Gonna be a scary putt to run on this sloped green.
Pretty good approach there. I think mentally you need to make sure you get this to the far side of the green so that you have a tailwind putt. You know, in conditions like this, so much of golf is about minimizing your errors and not making stressful situations that you have to make a big putt on.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't talked about a whole lot so far this round. With these windy conditions, your upshot placement around the basket, as Gregg seems to catch a bit of a lull in the wind there, able to connect and grab his birdie, put him to 4 down. What a birdie. But yeah, your placement around the basket is very key in these windy conditions, like you said, where you can get that tailwind putt. Or whatever putt you're most comfortable with. I guess there could be a few people who prefer the headwind, but you guys are crazy.
Yeah, absolute maniacs, sickos. Don't trust them. The tailwind putt isn't necessarily easier to make, but it is more predictable. It's more reliable to drop.
I just think the plastic is very premium. It's a high quality material. The way the disc feels in my hand.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
The quality is better than any other company out there.
Again, just consistent plastic. It's something I can consistently trust on every single throw.
There's so many discs to choose from, and I guarantee if you tried every disc in the lineup, you're gonna wanna put multiple discs in your bag.
It's extremely high quality. You can only say so much, they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
Hole 13. This is kind of a blind tee shot. You need to have practiced this to know what you're doing. Bunker short and right, green short and left, and it's a pretty steep uphill. I expect to see power backhands thrown way wide right.
Yeah, I would say this 360 is playing close to that 400, 415 mark.
I don't think the bunker goes out.
It's really more uphill than it looks on camera, and then it's kind of more uphill than it looks when you're standing there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like full smash might get you there. And another hole that does give the opportunity for a golf decision. I'm not sure if Barsby was running it or if he was. Oh wow. Oh.
Brutal.
Joel with a tough reaction. Barsby might have been laying up. He might have been going for it and just missed. But it is pretty viable to kind of bite the hole in half.
Yeah, definitely. Similar to 11, where I was saying it's just kind of a layup shot. This one is definitely more attackable, but there's lots of room for an easy 3 here.
And Matteo absolutely crushes this shot and pins it. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. Right underneath it, he's going to be CTP after all these upshots, most likely, too.
Great way to recover from the previous hole's mishaps.
Yeah, and Jerem finding that hazard bunker.
What's up? Thanks for watching Gatekeeper Media today. My name's Gregg Barsby. I've been a pro disc golfer for 20 years. I'd love to thank my sponsors, Innova Champion Discs and Millennium Golf Discs, for all their support. I'd like to introduce my new partner, Guru, and the Seeger bag. So I imported a couple hundred of these for this season. Decided that it was a better option for me to start to distribute the bags. So it's a wonderful piece of equipment, so I've had that going on, and they're at my warehouse. I'm grateful for that. I had to kind of relearn the whole system. So.
And that brings us into hole 14. I feel like what is a common theme so far, me saying a long par 3, which you kind of are okay with a par on, 455 feet. They've moved this basket even a bit farther back than it was in previous years to make where your upshot isn't so easy. It was down in a little bowl before. Now the upshot, you know, it could bring a little bit of trouble in. It's up on a mound, but very difficult hole to reach. You need that 500 feet, 520 feet of power.
Absolutely, and perfect angle control, because over too far to the right, out of bounds path, and if you're pin high left, you could very well end up on a green. And so far, these are aggressive shots that sure look like layups to me.
I think a lot of shots on this hole are going to look like layups, regardless of what they're supposed to be. And again, this headwind just immediately turning these discs over.
Good check by Barsby. You see that he's landing that disc short of the green and letting the hill kill the speed. And sneakily there, Matteo and Joel were lining up at the same time.
So yeah, kind of what you expect to see here. Got a couple kind of tester putts to get your pars, but not too far away. And we only had 2 birdies on this hole today. Gannon Burr and Jake Hebenheimer, the only 2 players able to card the 2. Good stuff, guys. Strokes on the field.
2 guys certainly known for their big distance. Hole 15, par 3 at 337. We are playing with a little bit of left to right crosswind and tailwind, out of bounds path to the right, and lined left and behind the basket as well. I expect to see overstable drivers, possibly fairway drivers here. And something to be aware of here is that trees kind of block everything coming into this green unless you're playing a stall shot, which is very challenging to do in these conditions. It's also the softest green on the course. You're liable to just hit and stick.
Yeah, as a backhand lefty player, not my favorite hole. Look at that disc just kind of skittle its way just barely inbounds. Gregg making his way down there. Looks like Joel is going to try to play that stall shot. Difficult to do in these winds, and it does end up stalling out a bit short. Going to be a difficult putt to run on this elevated basket.
And Koling playing for the stability, but it's never really going to come. And he doesn't get Barsby's fortunate skitter in.
Yeah, that was one of those shots that I said I enjoyed watching on the front nine, where it was on a hyzer but just kind of pushing right. Unfortunately, it's not the line he needed on this hole. Matteo!
And this is dirty. Look at it, full speed, chain high on the elevated basket.
Full speed, bouncing off of that pole. What a putt. Making his way back under par now, 2 down. I think Joel expected a bit more drop out of that one.
And Gregg expecting, oppositely, a little more lift.
Yeah.
This hole's kind of deceptive. After you've just played a whole bunch of really hard ones in a row, you know, you kind of take it for granted that you're going to get this one.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Brings us into hole 16, 693-foot par 4. Kind of a gap off of the tee pad. You've got that bunker over on the left side to avoid, but ideally you'd like to stay farther right than that so you could have a straight shot into the pin with a forehand or a backhand. Distance control on the second shot is the main issue here. It is, you've got to make sure you get this turned over to get that carry and not get to that bunker on the left side or find that OB cart path. And Matty O has done it nicely.
Yeah, I think you kind of need a Montessori goal here as right as possible. You're not really picking out a point. You're just like tricking yourself into throwing it more right than seems wise.
Yeah, definitely so.
Hey.
Another nice shot. They'll probably have that 280 to 320 range into the pin, maybe a little shorter.
Yeah, I think Barsby got it out around 465 or so. Joel's going to one-up that a little bit. And this is a big man and a big run-up. And
this is looking to be a big shot. Oh my goodness. He almost went on the green.
You hear him talking about that, all the different types of OB that he's found today. I really like this play out of Gregg. He's using the left side of the basket to approach, which is a much gentler slope and kind of funnels you to the basket. If you play this right side, as Matteo kind of leaks left, and that's down the hill. If you play the right side, it's a much steeper hill that just kills your speed as you come in.
Yeah, and Joel liking that play as well, but again, keeping it just a little bit too left or turning it too much out of the hand. Still shouldn't be in too bad of a spot, though. Germ deciding whether to putt or not.
Does that mean that I officially can say I threw a 600?
And you see how squirrely it is behind this green. Like, these hanging branches will blow in the wind, make it difficult to, have a reliable line to look at. Gregg with a little bit of nose angle difficulty. Seemed like he was too far forward on his front foot. Do you have mental cues for like how to deal with putting on slopes like this?
Yeah, just try to keep your body as level as you can. Like he said, he got a little on his front foot. I like to straddle. Well, I'm a straddle putter all the time, but even when I wasn't a full straddle putter, even on a hill where my feet would be above or below each other, I would rather straddle and keep them as level as I could.
Yeah, for sure. Hole 17, we have kind of a cursory triple mando. I'm going to see a lot of flex forehands thrown here. a small rock wall at about 70 short of the basket, and then kind of protected green. There is some OB left, and in theory OB right. But once you get through the gap, you've done most of the hard work. Joel's going to go Firebird Flex. And this is very blind off the tee, so you kind of don't know what you're going to get until you get down there.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the better shots you really see on this one. The shape is a bit strange. To get down there, you really have to turn it over, but you have to make sure it comes back. And with the overstability of making sure it comes back, usually you end up a little short right. So very specific shot shape. If you have something slower that you can let drift off to the left and then just kind of slowly finish, that's going to be the best play. Maybe one of Joel's Gator 3s or something of that sort rather than a Firebird that dumps a little early like that does. But kind of it feels like you need to get it, but every time you play it, you're like, well, I'm 40 short again.
Yeah, even at 322, this is not a hole that's given up a lot of birdies.
Wanted one there, just not quite.
And not to overlook, Joel, very nice birdie. For all of his struggles on the putting green, he has battled himself into a 4-down round at this point.
Yeah, not letting those putting woes affect his driving mentality while he's on the tee, still throwing the disc, throwing the disc very well. And that brings us into our last hole of this Millennium course. New pin position and a new tee pad now, 402-foot par 3. Got that green, you've got to make it over. And then if you go too far, you do have some OB behind the basket as well that's inside the circle. So again, that distance control type of shot.
Yeah, and this kind of puts everyone in between a fairway and distance driver. It's a little bit of an uncomfortable distance knowing what kind of ground play and speed and shape you need. Koling going to go with a forehand, but never gets it to the left of the basket. That kind of funnels to the bowl on the right side where mediocre shots go to die.
Yeah, and it gives you kind of that death putt to finish your round. You can run it and make it for a great putt, or you could run it and go OB. Maybe have a 4 or a double bogey looking back at you.
And that's gorgeous out of Matteo. Able to kind of do that nose up, keep it to the right, and get it pin high as it's fading. If you're coming straight to this basket, you're liable to end up dead on the hill. And Barsby overturns his, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah, throwing that disc a lot, really letting it stand up. Difficult to really control that in the wind as you see him drifting off to the right. And Germ does give it a good bid. Uh-oh. That good bid turns into a very big roll here. I guess he did stay in bounds.
Yeah, you see him expressing some surprise at ending up in this one spot. Like, Germ made some weird decisions and some misexecutions, but he's also gotten some bizarre outcomes.
Yeah, hit the right side of the basket and ends up all the way on the other side of it, behind the lone little tree that's there. That's not the best way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Koling now putting for 4 in there.
Yeah, one of those rounds he's just going to push behind him and move on to tomorrow, start the comeback.
Yeah, and, that's the first round of the year or the first tournament of the year. You can't be too mad about it. We're all out here getting to play. I think that's a big part of the excitement around Las Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. Big way to start out the year. You're out in Vegas, the destination area. As we see Matteo finishing his round with a birdie. A few players under par here. Gregg Barsby with a clean back 9. Just the one birdie, though. Joel Freeman, a few more birdies, both of them finishing 4 under.
Yeah, and we saw some hot rounds get posted later in the day as the wind slacked off a little bit. So congrats to those folks, and we look forward to joining you in round 2 with 4 of those outstanding competitors.
Yeah, we'll be over on the Innova course for round 2. So thank all you guys, Patreon supporters, subscribers, and followers of Gatekeeper Media. We appreciate every one of you. We look forward to seeing you guys out for round 2 tomorrow.